Hello YouTube, Ronin Kazzy. There, I think I got it. Let me take my glasses off. My old geezer glasses. How you doing today, YouTube? This is Ronin Kazzy. So as you know, I've been trying to get, Linux 10 Pretenders. I've been trying to get 10 distros on my machine. That 10th spot has been hard. I'm going to go over some of the ones that didn't make it, that I tried to install that didn't make it. This is Omarchy. It's a tile-based, it's a different distribution. It's an Arch distribution. It's pretty high. It just didn't meet my criteria. I wanted to run Steam. It's kind of like a preset OS. It's really work focused. There's not a lot of distractions. It doesn't have that's its interface right there. For those of you that might like that kind of stuff, that might work for you. As soon as I downloaded it, it looked good. I'm into Arch, rolling releases, and then it just wasn't what I needed. So it kind of failed. And this is like number 10. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It just wasn't, it didn't meet the criteria. Criteria is KDE, Nvidia, and a relatively new kernel. And now I'm going to do better video editing maybe, or not. So at one point I went with Debian Testing. I wanted to have a newer distribution, more upstream, not the set in stone Debian. Why did I get rid of it? Once I had Mint in there, I didn't really need that as an extra because the Debian tree is pretty strong in what it does. And I liked it. I could get it into KDE and I could get the testing, but they make me feel nervous that it's going to fall apart at any minute. And plus, again, I don't know if people use Debian more than Ubuntu. Ubuntu seems to be out in the public. I know everything's based on Debian, but it's what they drive usually. It's like driving a Ford instead of, whatever. All right. Our next thing down the round was Archbang. Archbang is kind of the lineage of a thing called Crunchbang. It didn't have KDE, so it had a different, I think it's called Mango is the window manager. And again, nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I'm looking to do. It was going to be hard to load Steam on there. The other thing, a lot of these other alternative Linux distros don't use systemd. They use run it or whatever the variations of those are. And what happens when you're trying to use Steam in gaming, that's a non-starter, right? Those aren't going to work. And if you make them work, it's not going to be worth the time to make it work. It's like defanging Windows 11 to make it, not steal all your stuff. And then the first time you get it updated, it breaks everything. So again, in a different life, it might have been an okay distro, but not what I needed to do here. Another one is Archsticks. It's kind of like the fish sticks thing with Kanye West and South Park. Loaded this up, wanted to like it. Problem is, not going to be able to run Steam because it has the run it or whatever it has, one of those alternative init systems. And so that was disappointing, downloading it, writing it to ISO, doing it and getting it and installing it and doing everything and Mugambiing my bootloader. So we're starting to get up in the temperature range where I'm kind of PO'd that some of these things, there's very few distributions that fit the criteria I'm asking for, as I'm finding out. This next one is a fan favorite, but not with Ronin Kazzy. Or is it? Or is it still something else? Nope, that's MX Linux. MX Linux gets a lot of play. It's a Debian-based distro. And this version was advanced hardware, and it's like whoop-de-doo. But again, and it has an option to be on some type of init or systemd. I picked systemd. Loaded it, downloaded it, put it on the ISO, went to boot it up, failure on boot, ends up just, and that's it. I don't have time for that. How could I recommend this to some user if you got to go right into the grub emergency terminal in the beginning to make it work? And that's a horrible thing on a lot of these kind of distros. They look good on paper, but until you use them, until you try to load them on a system, not a virtual machine. All right. And now, again, I wanted to run Nvidia too, right? KDE, Steam, Nvidia, because I have a laptop that has both. PopBoss has it. PopBoss even runs KDE, but it's on X11. What's the difference between X11? X11 and Wayland? X11 can't have Wayland 6 point whatever, which is great. You're stuck with KDE 5. So it's no good. Everything about it, though, it was Nvidia because it's by System 76 and they make machines. So it's got the cred, the street cred to run. And its primary desktop environment is Cosmic, which is still kind of in beta-ish. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Another bad mention is a Blue Star Linux, and they have a whoop-de-doo. We won't talk about that yet. We'll talk about that in a bit. Fedora. This Fedora, I have to have a boot partition, and it constantly writes 500 megabyte files into my boot EFI, no matter what I do. AI said, well, if you tell it that you're going to put it on an EXT, it won't have to make that boot. Lies. Filled up my boot /EFI with megabytes and megabytes of BS. Never runs, breaks super easy for me. If it was on its own system, maybe. Supposedly it does Nvidia stuff, but I can never get there because it's always dying. It had made the list, but then it died because when I had to put Steam on it and then run my Nvidia graphics, it died in that interim. It's a shame. And it has this loader called Anaconda. That's the problem. So I at one point said I'm going to use Ultramarine. Ultramarine doesn't have Anaconda, but Ultramarine suffers from the same. It's in the same family. Sorry. Ultramarine, go to a new family. I'd love to use you. I make wallpapers for a lot of these things because what I realize when you look on and listen online while we're here online, what are the 10 best? Some of these sites and some of them copy each other. Just horrible crap. It's not even good. Please hire me and I'll test your distros and I'll tell you why they're good or bad or whatever. But it's got to be easy to install. It's got to work well with others and those kind of things. In a multi-boot environment, all of these ones are horrible. They don't work. They blow everything up. Not good. And a lot of times they're DOA, dead on arrival. Maybe if they were by themselves, they might work. If I got a grub terminal and I'm a fresh install, no thanks. And I really wanted this to work, Nobara. It's the gaming Fedora one, but it suffered from the exact same thing. I even tried to install it this morning. Just filled up my EFI with its 500 megabytes, 573 megabytes of BS. I've never really gotten a Fedora distro to work long term, and especially how I run things on this test. My day-to-day caching thing just is bulletproof. It's bulletproof on my test. On my test thing, when I'm doing all this stuff, I always go to the cache partition, always. This last one breaks my heart. I told you I loaded Arch for the Aura farming, which I had to explain to someone after I looked it up. And this next one I installed for the Aura YouTube, for the Aura. I conquered Lynch. I conquered Arch. And now I had one last thing. Void. So after all this knowledge, I go into, the first time I did Void, I didn't understand it. This time I went through Void like a hot knife through butter, YouTube. I knew what I was doing. I was proud I installed it. And I was like, yeah, take that, Void Linux. Everything worked. It rebooted after. And I was like, yeah. I said, okay, now let me put Steam on it. Oh, I can only own Steam 32 and I don't have multi-lib and hasn't run it on it also. Then I said, let me put OBS in there at least. No pipe. Pipewire? So in the process of trying to load Steam, it eventually killed itself. Seppuku, YouTube. Because it couldn't hack it. So, this is Ronin Kazzy. Those are 10 that didn't make it. For good reason. Bye, YouTube.